Hey there, it's George Ira Carroll, and I wanted to share a quick story with you. And you may know this already, but Federal Express, any shipment that gets sent through Federal Express gets filtered through their main warehouse in Mississippi. So there's this huge conveyor belt system, if you can imagine it, and it goes through this sort of filtering system where it gets filtered based on state and zip code. And so everything that gets sent through Federal Express goes through Mississippi, and then from Mississippi it's then sent out to the destinations. Well, one day everything was working smoothly, and the owner was just sort of walking around making checks, and all of a sudden everything just kind of stopped. It stopped, and he freaked out, obviously, because everything had come to a halt, and all the business that was taking place had just come to a stop. So he gets on the phone and he dials his repairman. He says, "Get your butt over here, we've got a problem." Hangs up the phone. About 30 minutes to an hour later, the repairman shows up, and he says, "Well, what's the problem?" And the owner's just kind of out of his mind. He says, "Well, what do you think?" And he looks over to the conveyor belt system, seeing that it's stopped. Well, the repairman is pretty calm, pretty easy demeanor, pretty relaxed. And so he's just kind of walking around a little bit, all the while the owner is frustrated with the whole system being down. And so the repairman is just kind of walking around, easy does it, and he finds a box. Goes up to the box, opens up the box, takes a look inside, gets out his screwdriver, and begins to turn that one screw just a few times, and then click. Everything begins working again. Everything begins running smoothly, and the filtering process is good to go. Well, the owner obviously is just beside himself and full of joy, and he goes over to the repairman, gives him a big hug, and he asks him, "Well, what do I owe you?" And the repairman said, $10,000. And then the owner got pissed off again. He said, $10,000? What are you talking about? You've only been here for what, maybe 10 minutes? And what'd you do, turn one screw? It's like, send me an itemized bill. And the repairman calmly said, "Well, I don't need to, leave to do that. Just give me a pen and paper and I'll write it down for you." So he gives him a pen and paper. He writes for a few seconds, hands him over the note, and the owner opens it up and looks at it, and then he smiles and then starts chuckling a little bit, and he says, "Okay." Goes over to the safe, pays him in full in cash. You want to know what the note said? It said, "Turning screw, $1. Knowing which screw to turn, $9,999. So when it comes to making our lives work and creating an amazing life experience, it's never really the screws that we turn, is it? It's more about knowing which screws to turn. Take care, God bless, and see you soon.